Hi, I'm Ron B from Philly, and I got something to say about the Philly schools. Hey, I'm Ron B from Philly, and I got something to say about the Philadelphia schools. On April 6th, in the Daily News, Mayor Kenny said that education is the only way for poor people to stop being poor. Wow. And since the pandemic, our kids have been in virtual school. And how has that been going? Apparently, most people don't think it's been going very well. Some parents have been saying that they want the kids back in school immediately or as quick as possible. Kids, some of them been complaining about the fact that the socialization and missing certain landmarks and events and all that kind of stuff. Teachers, they're not happy. This is not what they learned to do in college. It's not the type of learning that they were trained on. They were thrown in and made to do it because of the emergency situation. Mostly no one has been satisfied with this situation, but everybody has done the best that they can do. Now, we kind of sometimes forget that people have to make adjustments. But once you do something for a long period of time, it becomes what is the norm. Now, I didn't think virtual school, the way that they had it, was going to be the norm. But by the same token, all the time the kids was out of school, I assumed that the school district was working on some type of plan to get the schools back open, or working on the things that were wrong with the schools before they closed. Asbestos in schools, no ventilation in schools, schools crumbling and falling down. If no one's going to the schools, no kids. Essential personnel still, you don't know was still working the whole time? Crossing guards. What the hell? Crossing guards were crossing nobody. They were standing outside watching people go back and forth, doing what they do anyway. God, I'm a union guy. I love unions. I believe in them. And I'm not trying to say no one should be working or doing a job. But there could be things that could be getting done or should have been getting done while no one was around that was in your way to fix it. Secondly, they was taking a soda tax. You've been taking soda tax since you started this. Now, why wasn't you using that money to fix the schools? You ain't got no recreation open. I'm going to talk about that when I talk about Fairmount Park. You don't have all the other things, but you got the money. The money is still rolling in. So, what's the deal here? They knew they was going to go back to school. Then they've been mixing and matching, figuring and fixing and all. Now all of a sudden, by May 26th, everybody will be back to school. Well, a portion of people will be back to school. But they didn't prepare. They didn't do anything while they were waiting, figuring it out. Now, I'm going to jump on this virtual school thing for a second. People were going to virtual schools before the pandemic. The school district was losing kids because kids were doing those different programs like Huntington and other programs that were virtual. And also the school district was putting people out of the schools because of behavioral problems and making them do virtual school. All right, so then the pandemic comes and it has a wide scale rollout. Everybody got to go. They had to get that stuff together and they don't know how it's going to work, and then they get it working and then people are going. Now, No one expected this to go this long because our government, the big government, was lying to us the whole time, not telling us what was wrong, not telling us that this was a bad problem. We had to see it on the news. We had to realize that people's dying, people in your family dying. You can't go to a funeral, all of this. So no one really expected virtual school to last this damn long. But, what you come to find out, now, and I have a kid in virtual school. Mm-hmm. What you come to find out is most people use school as babysitting. They send them bad A kids to school because they don't want to watch them. They got to work. They don't really care what happened to them as long as they go to school. They don't know nothing. Their education has been crap for the longest. People graduating can't read, can't write, can't spell, can't count. But behavioral problems, that big thing is take you out of class and send you to the office and you falling further behind. So a lot of kids had problems and a lot of parents had problems. But their answer was send their butt to school. Mm-hmm. Now, them teachers are there trying to teach kids that are not interested in learning a darn thing. But that's what the parents came to find out with the virtual school. That their kids weren't learning anything. That their kids don't have the discipline to do schoolwork unless someone's standing over top of them. Mainly, parents wanted kids back to get them out their damn hair. They gotta feed them 2 meals, breakfast and lunch. They gotta see if they're doing something or not. Most people wasn't even working. So, y'all was home, kids was home. What are you complaining about? Maybe you should see what the hell your kids is doing and you realize that, hey, what are you in there doing? Now, we were all thrust into it. So we had to stand up and be accountable. So now the school district, before they sent the school back, now they're getting federal funding, $1 billion from the government to help with this pandemic funds that they took $1 trillion out for. Mm-hmm. And they tell you to do a survey. April 16th it started, and it's over on the 20th, I think, Monday. So, I don't know if you did the survey. It's on the school website. Your students should have had it on their little student website. They sent emails. They sent voicemails. They sent texts. I did it. And I told them about their shortcomings. I didn't tell them about how I felt these teachers were also, angels in this situation, right? Because they did step up and they did do. The teachers that I have for my kid stepped up and been attentive and been keeping me in the loop and been doing a lot of things. Big ups to Mr. P. But April 16th, the school board sent out a budget survey. They sent it out email, voicemail, text. They put it on the website, on the kids' website. It was on the news. And it was supposed to have been for a couple of days, but then they extended it to, I think, this Monday, the 20th. I think we're going to put a copy of this in the actual video. And they're asking a lot of questions. What should we do with the money? How happy are you with this, that, and the third? A lot of things. And it's a pretty comprehensive survey. Plus, it has a lot of places for you to give your input. One of my inputs were that some of the problems that these kids are having is that we have advanced our education to a level where we think technology can do everything. Where simple kids in simple school don't have any simple things. You took away their recess, you took away gym, took away health, took away clubs, took away sports, took away vocation. So kids only think going to school for ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, going to school for French and literature, and going to school for the things that quote unquote are the college track. If you can't do that, then you have nothing. Plus, jobs, which is not their fault, the school district fault, but there's no jobs out there for people who don't have college degrees or are academic in nature. Mostly, any kid can work a computer. But virtual school showed you that it's not always about having the ability to do something. It's the systems. If the systems aren't there, then it's not going to work. So I talked about that. And, again, I also talked about the soda tax, which I talked about in a bit. So,
Well, then I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah, Sharon B.
Do you feel like that kids that don't have the parental skills of, like learning these different types of, certain types of skills don't benefit as much as the kids that do? Well, not as do, but like if you go to college or trade school and stuff like that, parents that push for those things versus parents that does not.
Well, I can speak on that. Ron B talk about what he know about.
Right.
I was a kid who was intelligent enough, but I wasn't prepared for college or pushed to go. If I was going to go, it was going to be all on me.
Mm-hmm.
I went to vocational school, and I took architecture because I thought I wanted to be an architect. Mm-hmm. But I ended up not being an architect. I ended up working at the zoo. And I didn't use anything. My son went to that same school later and took plumbing. Then in the middle, they got rid of plumbing. Now, who could go to vocational school taking a plumbing and make you think you don't need plumbers? Who gonna fix your toilet? Who gonna fix your sink? Even without a college degree. Now, my son decided to go into automotives. Now, cars these days are not simple turn a wrench, fix a plug. They're computers too.
Mm-hmm.
See, to answer your question, there's always been parents that didn't motivate the kids. But kids generally find like water seeks a certain level. Mm-hmm. It always seeks the lowest level. Kids also seek a level. They decide on their own what they're going to be. Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes negative reinforcement is what happens. They say, I'm not going to be like my mom. I'm not going to be like my dad. I'm going to be different. I'm going to be better.
Right.
So it's not always that part. I'm more on the other side of the coin. The who's providing the systems. Who's deciding that gym and recess for all these kids with ADD who can't concentrate, don't get a chance to go outside for 45 minutes and run around because they don't want to hire somebody to watch them, because they want to think they're going to be liable if they fall, because they just don't want to do it. They're using the park, the recess yard for a parking lot. All of this stuff is us. We did this.
Right.
We're doing this to these kids.
See, I think that was my next question was like, what do you feel like is most essential for kids to develop?
Well, see, I'm not a professional, and all I've been is a parent.
Like
and I'm a foster parent, so I'm a professional.
Like you've had these experiences.
I'm a professional parent.
So what would you think?
But what I would say is that, like you started your question with about kids who were struggling.
Right.
I've dealt with special needs. I've dealt with kids with issues that had to still go to school and still learn and had learning disabilities and problems. Mm-hmm. The system ain't set up for, again, to actually teach them anything, but it's because it's so hard when they catch them, when they get them, mm-hmm. It's hard to know what to do with them at the level that they're in. But there's a lot of schools, Martin Luther King, Roxborough, that have great special needs and special ed classes. I think for a general student, what they need to be realized is that everybody's not going to college.
Right.
You cannot, and don't tell me the technology era is making everything a college level job, because y'all just put virtual school in play with no degree for nobody except for the teachers, and everybody seemed to be able to get it done. Now, if you're going to tell me that the studies say that they didn't get it done, that's why we got a sense of, well, maybe you should look at how y'all were teaching.
Right.
And maybe you should look at what the curriculum was. And maybe you should look at changing some of that stuff. Because apparently, teaching is an art. Teachers are so many things good about teachers. There are bad everybody's in this world, but most of the teachers do this because they love kids and they want to make something better out of life.
Mm-hmm.
But, you're working with one hand tied behind your back. And you're working in a system that's always devaluing you, saying that, well, teachers union ain't this, and the teachers going to strike, and the teachers... Well, stop treating them like slaves.
Right.
Then maybe they won't.
Like they anybody.
Like the most precious thing on earth is your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And these people spend all day with their butts.
Absolutely.
And you gonna treat them badly. It's like treating your chef badly, cussing him out and expecting him not to spit in your food or worse.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I kind of, didn't, I had a lot to say about this, and especially because I'm in this situation with my boy here, and he's, and my son and daughter didn't have that problem, but they had it in, y'all two had it in secondary school. So, it ain't no more better for you to go to college and still have the same issue.
So what would you say to new foster or adoptive parents coming into this industry? Like, what would you say to them?
Well, this is not a foster or adoptive parent situation.
Yeah, something like that.
But the point is, I would say to them that I would say to a student or a parent or whatever, just be part of your school. Be part of the Homeless School Association. Listen to the school board when they send in these little emails. Do the surveys. Tell them what you think. Don't be just complaining, but complaining, the people who complain are the ones who are willing to say something. So complain. But don't just sit back and take this from whoever. Because change doesn't happen unless we ask for it. Change doesn't happen unless we demand it. Change doesn't happen because. I'm getting this on my tape.
Yes.
Here.
Well, I can cut this out.
All right. So, I'm Ron B. from Philly.
Yes.
And I talk about what I know about. Like, subscribe, share. Like I said before, we're trying to get our subscribers up so we can start doing some promotions and doing some different things. And but I still want on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. Thank you.